Good morning. And so this morning we're thinking about costly worship. That doesn't mean that Rowan's going to go around and ask each of us for a tenner, but it's thinking about what our worship means, what value it has. And we're not just thinking about singing, but we're thinking about our whole lives, how we follow Jesus with our whole lives. Now, I want to play a little game together. I wonder how good we are at guessing the value of things. I recently went on a website and I found a list of the 10 most expensive things in the world. It included luxury watch, rare paintings, homes, and even a website domain name. So I have a selection of those. Number 10, I think, might come on the screen in a moment. This is not my car. This is a 1962 Ferrari GTO. And I wonder if I have any car fans in the room who can guess how much this cost when it sold recently. Yes, sir. How much do you think? $1 million. $1 million? Pardon? 2 or 3 million. Okay, let's all play along. So if you think it's higher than 3 million, I want your hands on your heads. And if you think it's lower, hands down. Okay, a lot of people think it's higher. This actually cost $48.4 million US. Okay, so that was a bit more. But we'll roll again. Okay, because at number 5 is a painting called The Card Players by Paul Cézanne. Okay, so this was bought by the nation of Qatar in 2012. So this is number 5, so it costs more than the car. Any of the young people here want to guess how much this painting sold for? 100 million. Okay, hands on head if you think it's higher than 100 million. Hands down for lower. Okay, a lot of us think it's lower. Friends, this sold for $250 million US. But topping the list by some way was a yacht called the History Supreme Yacht. Modest in appearance. The History Supreme Yacht for discreet entrances into the Five Rise Locks if you want a good day out in Bingley. Okay. Anyone want to hazard a guess at how much the most expensive thing in the world cost? 600 million, good guess. Hands on heads for higher than 600 million, hands down for lower. Okay, we're 50-50. Friends, the History Supreme Yacht sold for $4.5 billion US. I know, but I don't regret it. So those numbers, if you have any sense, probably sound ridiculous to you. They probably sound like madness. But here's the thing. Here's why we're looking at this. I want us to think about what we value. And I wonder, what are the things that you value most? Not just expensive things, but the things that really matter to you. The things that you treasure. The things that are precious to you. And I wonder this morning, if it came to it, could you lay those things down at Jesus' feet? And that's what we see Mary doing in this Bible passage. She took a perfume that cost a year's wages and she poured it over Jesus' feet. She gave Jesus a gift that was worth so much to her. It was the most valuable thing she had. And other people thought that she was crazy. Why would you give Jesus something so valuable? But Jesus says she has done a good thing because he saw it as true worship, as costly worship. So this phrase, costly worship, it might sound daunting, like something that can demand too much of us. But when we think about it, every meaningful gift will cost us something. It might cost us money, but it could cost us time if it's something we've made. It could cost us an opportunity if we've given up something. Or it could cost us time and emotional energy. I went to see the Minecraft movie yesterday. They are 2 hours that I will never get back. it was a lot more expensive emotionally than it was for the ticket. But a gift that costs us nothing, whether it's in money or time or effort or love, is that really a gift at all? And when we think about costly worship, we think about our way of showing Jesus how much he is worth to us. And in doing so, we draw closer to him and we reorient our lives around him. We often sing this song in church, "You are worthy of it all, you are worthy of it all." And that word, worthy, it means having value. Jesus, you have value. You have all the value. So, first, we're going to think about worship that costs us something. We're going to think about financial cost. In John 12:3, we just heard read that Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume, and she poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his tears with her hair. Now, friends, we don't really use nard anymore, but imagine she has a pint of Dolce & Gabbana or whatever you like to spray around your face, and it cost about a year's wages. That was the quantity of it. Imagine having to save for something for a whole year. I wonder if there's any of the youth here or any of the young people. Maybe you get pocket money or an allowance and you have something in mind that you're saving for. So I think coming up on the slide is something that might look alien to some of you, but for some of us 80s and 90s kids, you might remember. This, friends, is from the Argos catalogue. And this will make no sense to the kids, but let me just try and explain this. So before Amazon was a thing, once a quarter you went to a shop and you picked up this book. It was a bit like the Bible. It was massive. And there were thousands of pages, and in it were treasures and treasures and treasures. And as a kid, you could sit down and you could work out, it was for adults too, but you could work out how much pocket money it would cost you to save up for these things. Kids, this is what a PlayStation 1 looked like, okay? I got one from the White Rose Center in 1997, and it's still somewhere in my parents' loft. It was a box of magic. And I would save up and I would work out. I would say, right, the Game Boy, that's like a year and a half pocket money. The Robo-Dog, that's 6 months pocket money, but who wants a Robo-Dog anyway? And so on and so forth. And I wonder what you're saving up for at the moment, a house deposit or something like that. And imagine you get to the amount of money that you're saving up for, and you just pour it at Jesus' feet, and it's gone in a second. Whatever you're saving up for, poured at Jesus' feet. Why would Mary do this? Why is it good news to her? Because Mary knew something important, that Jesus was worth more than anything that she could ask or imagine. Do we give Jesus our best, or do we just give him what's left over? Next, I want to think about worship that risks looking foolish, like our reputation. Because Mary didn't just give the perfume. She didn't just leave it in a gift bag by his face and say, here's something for you, I hope you like it. She poured it over his feet. She wiped his feet with her hair. And in that culture, women didn't let down their hair in public, let alone use their hair to wipe someone's feet. But Mary didn't care what everyone in the room was thinking. She was focused on Jesus, and she was focused on worshiping him with her whole life. I wonder if we've ever been embarrassed in our worship of Jesus, about talking about Jesus with the people we work with, or the people at school, or the people in our family. Maybe we felt nervous saying that we believe in Jesus. Or maybe we felt a bit embarrassed in joining in with an action song, even today. Mary didn't worry about what she looked like. She didn't worry about what people thought of her. She gave Jesus her best, even when others did not understand. When we put Jesus first, we find true freedom. Worship isn't about impressing others. It's about being fully ourselves before God. Do we ever let our fear stop us from worshiping Jesus, either here in church or out where we spend most of our lives, in work, with our friends, with our family, at home? Do we ever let our fear stop us from worshiping Jesus? And lastly, and we're coming into land, we're going to think about worship that comes from the heart, emotional worship. Mary's worship wasn't just an action, it was an outpouring of love. True worship isn't about looking good, it's about giving Jesus our hearts. Imagine, kids, if your parents spoke to you for 1 hour a week on a Sunday morning, how would that feel? Maybe don't answer that if you're near them. How would it feel if you, who are married here, spent 1 hour a week talking to your spouse? Again, spouses, don't answer how that would feel, because some people might. Anyway, that's a tangent. Come back, Josh. The point is that we are to spend time in relationship with God. Jesus wants more than our Sundays. He wants our whole lives. And friends, why is this good news? Because true worship brings real joy. We are made to love Jesus with our whole hearts. And I know personally there are people in this room who live this out and are an inspiration to me and to others here. People who have fled from home countries, fled from situations, left behind jobs, family, money, etc., because it wasn't safe for them to worship Jesus where they are. And friends, if that's you, we honor you. You are an inspiration to us. Your life is an example of costly worship lived out, and we honor you. As we close, I wonder, is our worship ever at risk of being routine? Or does it come from a heart like Mary? Can we worship Jesus like Mary? And so as we close, last question, I wonder what your metaphorical jar of perfume is today. What is the thing that you might be pouring out on Jesus' feet today? Is there something that Jesus is asking you to give up, to give to him as an act of worship? Maybe it's giving up some of your time to pray and read the Bible. Maybe it's worshiping boldly in your work and in your play, even when others don't understand. Or maybe it's about being more generous than we've been before. True worship always costs something, but Jesus is worth it.